Solomon's magnificent legacy, knowledge, prosperity, and divorce. A man of extraordinary wisdom, unmatched wealth, and great controversy makes his appearance in the annals of history, King Solomon. After his father, King David, fell ill, at the young age of 15, he became the last king of Israel, ruling from 970 to 931 BCE. We explore this iconic monarch's fascinating life and legacy today. A diverse historical figure. King Solomon is a widely known and respected figure whose significance endures because he appears in many religious texts, including the Bible. He is depicted as possessing transcendent wisdom in the religious narratives of various groups, including Christians, Jews, Arabs, Freemasons, Rastafarians, Kabbalah adherents, and Baha'is. His narrative emphasizes how kindness is universal and how people can have a spiritual connection. Divine prosperity and wisdom. Solomon's path and his relationship with God are intimately related. Solomon was young when God bestowed wisdom and wealth upon him, but it didn't stop him from being chosen to rule over the land of Israel. The idea that sincere faith and virtue are the keys to divine blessings is echoed by the story of Solomon talking with God in his dreams and his preference for wisdom over riches. The literary legacy of Solomon. In addition to being a king, Solomon wrote a great deal. He wrote a number of pieces, such as poetry, proverbs, sayings of wisdom, and short stories. Especially noteworthy is his compilation of sage proverbs, which he intended to instruct his offspring and highlight the timeless significance of transferring knowledge across the generations. Even though parenting may have changed since Solomon's day, his insight is still worth applying. A complicated private life. Solomon had an extremely mysterious personal life. His illustrious count of 700 wives and 300 concubines served as a symbol of the ties that were created through royal marriages. History lists only one of his many partners, Naamah the Ammonite, as his spouse. The remainder are still only figures that illustrate the intricate network of political alliances that existed in antiquity. The unfathomable wealthy king. Solomon was incredibly wealthy. He owned palaces, gold, slaves, horses, cattle, and an enormous amount of grain. Among his wealth were 500 tons of pure gold that came from Israeli gold mines. Historians differ on how exactly wealthy he was, but they all agree that he was extremely wealthy, largely because of the tribute that his wives and allies brought to the table. God's favor and human fallibility. Throughout Solomon's reign, divine favor and human frailty coexisted. Though he was initially endowed with wealth and wisdom from God, his later deeds, letting his wives worship other gods, working on projects involving slaves, and becoming fixated on money, brought God's wrath. His people suffered as a result of his decisions, and they bore the consequences. The enigma of Solomon's grave. There are many theories about Solomon's tomb. Some people assert that marijuana plants were discovered at his grave, which may indicate that this plant was used historically. Nonetheless, considering the limitations of historical evidence, the validity of such claims is still up for debate. The origins of the Star of David. Solomon's influence can even be seen in the Star of David, a symbol. It is thought that Solomon's seal, which is a representation of his connection to divine powers, served as the inspiration for the hexagon-shaped star that is currently displayed on Israel's flag. The legendary wisdom of Solomon. Solomon is renowned for his wisdom, which is best illustrated by his well-known decision concerning two women who claimed to be the mother of the same child. His astute decision to threaten to split the child in two in order to reveal the real mother demonstrates the breadth of his perception and judgment. Creator of temples and cities. Solomon was not only wise, but also a bold builder. He built many temples dedicated to God, one of which was the first temple of Jerusalem. In order to accommodate his slaves and laborers, he also built cities. His urbanization initiatives serve as prime examples of his vision for the state of Israel. Profiting from knowledge and standing. Governors from distant lands were drawn to Solomon because of his reputation for wealth and wisdom. These dignitaries added to Solomon's growing wealth when they paid him visits and brought gifts of gold. He became one of the most adored, esteemed, and trusted leaders of his time due to his extraordinary reputation. A contentious climb to the monarchy. The ascent to power of Solomon was not without controversy. He was not the heir apparent, rather, heavenly intervention brought him to the throne. Conflicts arose with his brothers as a result, and one of them proclaimed himself king. Solomon's brother and father's concubine died as a result of his unwavering quest for the throne. The search for Solomon's wealth. Solomon's legendary wealth, which came from copper and gold mines, is still a source of fascination and study. Researchers are currently looking for proof of his mines and the size of his empire. Despite the paucity of historical records, current research points to the possibility that Solomon's treasures were real. Literary works included in the Bible. In addition to the Book of Wisdom, Solomon is credited with writing 3 other important books in the Bible: Song of Solomon, Proverbs, and Ecclesiastes. By providing deep insights into prayer, wealth, power, and wisdom, these texts add to the body of religious and philosophical writing. A life of gold. Solomon's fondness for gold increased along with his wealth. He started living an extravagant lifestyle, surrounded by glittering precious metal and drinking from golden cups. His fondness for gold highlights how people are inherently drawn to ostentatious and shiny things. The Solomon Temple's legacy. It is impossible to exaggerate the significance of Solomon's temple historically. The temple is located in the city of Jerusalem, which is very important to Jews, Muslims, and Christians today. Many people hold the sacred location to be the site of Jesus Christ's second coming, which could herald an apocalyptic event. This ancient city's future is still being shaped by the legacy of Solomon's temple. A symbol of wealth, complexity, and wisdom in the vast tapestry of history is King Solomon. His reign, from an early ascent to a turbulent reign, is proof of the resilience of the human spirit and its complex connection to divinity. Even though there are still many unanswered questions about his life, Solomon's influence will enthrall and motivate future generations. In summary, King Solomon's life and legacy provide an amazing example of how wealth, intelligence, and human complexity interact. His ascent from a young monarch to a monarch of unparalleled wealth and power has irrevocably altered the course of history and continues to pique our interest. The tale of Solomon serves as a timely reminder of the value of wisdom, faith, and the complex bond between humanity and the divine. Thinking back on the complex character of King Solomon, we are reminded of the timeless lessons he taught us and the lasting influence he had on many different religious traditions. Solomon's influence spans centuries, whether it be through his literary contributions to the Bible, his extravagant lifestyle, or his fabled wisdom. Solomon's temple, located in the center of Jerusalem, continues to stand as a testament to the religious significance of the city and inspire us to think about the mysteries of the future. Will it really serve as the platform for historic events, as some have speculated? We'll find out in time. The legacy of King Solomon is a tale of grandeur, strength, and human frailty that never ceases to captivate and motivate historians. Even though his wealth and wisdom were unmatched, his complicated life serves as a reminder of the nuances of the human condition.